Cool. All right, Rachel, when you're ready, I guess,
Yes.
intro the show.
All right, I shall. I'm going to take a quick swig.
Yeah, gotta luxuriate those vocal cords. I don't know what word I was looking for, but I didn't find it.
Lubricate.
Lubricate. That would be a better word to describe it. Sure.
Gotta lubricate
Lubricate.
my voice meat.
Your voice meat. Don't
My
ever
voice
say that
meat.
again. I hate it. All right, please introduce
I'll
the show.
never say it again. Okay, hold on. I'm just thinking about voice meat. I'm so sorry.
I've got the looks and the charm of an old movie star. Cary Grant, if you will, so I find it bizarre that this girl should refuse to step into my car. She must be shy, she'll come around, it's just a matter of time. Aurora, Aurora.
Hey there, Screen Beans, and welcome to Screen Snark, the podcast that celebrates all of the shows that are in our eyes, on our minds, and in our hearts. I am Rachel Quirky Shank, owner of this voice meat.
I knew that was coming. And I am
Had to be
Matt.
voice meat.
And I am Matt, aka Stormageddon. I guess also technically being a human owning voice meat. I don't like thinking about it.
Vocal cords.
Also known as vocal cords. We're off to a great start. So I'm going to rush right into our incredible guest.
Just gremlin of the trash energy.
You are on your shit already, Rachel.
Oh, you have no idea.
Our guest is, he is one of the hosts of the Men of Steel podcast on this very network. He is a member of several venturing parties within the Scruffy Nerf Herders podcast. And he is just a comic book and nerdy guy around the internet. It is the incredible Jmike Folson. Jmike, thank you for joining us.
No problem. I'm going to add
Yeah.
throat meat or voice meat to my list of things I learned today.
Yeah, there you go. Look, if we do nothing else for you today, Jmike, it's that we've educated you, and
Yes.
that's all. I'm happy to provide that service.
I learned a new word.
I'm so excited to one day draft the Screen Snark Extended Universe dictionary of all just the dumb words I've put together to mean other words that already exist.
Oh God! I mean, I know Jmike is no stranger to extended universes, being one of the hosts of Men of Steel and of Scruffy Nerf Herders, a Star Wars TTRPG podcast. Both very different universes.
Oh, extremely
a true
different.
professional over here, Matt. I'm still rooting around in the garbage, you know.
Yeah, you know.
Matt's sailing this ship to glory.
Look, I do what I can. We're going to talk more with Jmike about his two podcasts on the network and all the other cool stuff that he does in a little bit. But as always, we are going to start by talking about the most recent things we've watched. And folks, my movie that I brought is one of the strangest movies I've watched in a long time. Are the two of you familiar with I believe it's the 2019 Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe vehicle, The Lighthouse?
You watched The Lighthouse?
Gosh, I think I saw previews for that, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
I
And I
haven't
never
seen it yet. Tell me everything you can about it without telling me anything about it.
So The Lighthouse is one of those movies that you see a trailer for and you're like, oh, that looks weird. That looks interesting. I want to see that. Also with someone like Willem Dafoe, like I'll watch him literally do anything. And I am a Robert Pattinson fan. I've been post-Twilight. He's been in a bunch of stuff that I've really liked. I'm excited for him as Batman, even though I argue with Hans about it all the time on our Discord, but it's fine. But no, yeah, I'd wanted to see this for a while. I've been trying to see more movies that are dramatic or suspense or more artsy, A24 stuff, just because I know that's kind of a hole in my nerddom is like, I like those kinds of movies, but I don't always go out of my way to see them. And so this came and went and I forgot about it. And then when I was rooting around on Amazon Prime today, under our great Lord Bezos, may he get fucked. I saw that The Lighthouse was free with Prime Video, and I was like, okay, let's watch this movie. So I'm not going to talk about the plot that much because honestly, you have to witness it for yourself. But
yeah.
The basics of this movie is, first thing to know, it's in black and white from start to finish.
Really?
No color. It's in black and white. The second thing is it's shot in 4:4. Like, it's a square. The whole film is a square. the whole time. And now what's interesting is a lot of scenes are in the dark or with like low light. So it ends up feeling like it's in widescreen sometimes. But then any of the daytime shots, it's just this tiny box. That is how we all used to watch TV. And it was so weird. But after the first like 10 minutes, I didn't notice it. Like I just accepted this is how I'm watching this. The very loose.
Yeah, that's a square.
Yeah.
Wow.
The very loose premise is that Willem Dafoe is this lighthouse keeper. He's been taking care of this lighthouse for an indeterminate amount of time. And Robert Pattinson's character is like a new hire, like an apprentice, like someone coming to just make some money and learn about the lighthouse. And things start to get kind of strange. Like they try to bond and like things kind of get weird. There seems to be something off with Robert Pattinson's character, but we're not sure what. Like he just seems like he's keeping something. Meanwhile, Willem Dafoe is playing like old sailor to the max. He's got the big beard. He's clearly got fake teeth in. A lot of ye young this and yo sunny that. Like it's great. It is the kind of bullshit you would expect from Willem Dafoe going all old sailor on you. And it's about an hour and 45 minutes of what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's got the kind of... So throughout the whole movie, since from the very beginning, there's a foghorn sound. Lighthouses famously, besides having lights, also have a foghorn. So ships can not only see, but hear them. There's a distorted foghorn sound that is, we are led to believe, is the foghorn of the lighthouse that kind of chimes during dramatic moments throughout the entire film, which is kind of wild, making me believe that maybe it was just part of the score, not necessarily just that sound. But the music is very limited. It's very ambient. And it's a lot of small, like large scenes in small spaces. There's a tiny house. There's like the confined areas where they're doing their work. And the acting is on another level. There are a couple of other cast members in the movie, but they are through reveals of the narrative, so I'm not going to get into that. But like this is a resume piece for Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. It's incredibly dramatic. It's a thriller. It's got a few jump scare moments, but it's not. I wouldn't consider it a horror movie. I mean, it unnerves me and isn't a horror movie, I guess, the same way like Get Out or Us is a horror movie. Like the idea of like it's all about the buildup and the suspense and the unknown. Those more explicitly horror than this was. But it's great. Like I wasn't sure how I felt about it as I was watching it, but then as it progressed, like I found myself just not able to look away. I was, one of those movies that just kind of sucks you in, and then you realize you've been watching it for an hour, and you're like, "But what the fuck just happened? Like what?
Real mesmerism right there."
Yeah, and like I really liked it, but I don't know why, if that makes sense. Like, ever watch a movie that like is brilliant and well done, but then you're kind of like, what did I just watch? Because that's kind of the experience I had with this, Like I was telling Rachel before we started recording, like I'm going to go on Twitter after this and directly tweet some of my director filmmaker friends and just be like, did you see this movie? What the fuck? Did you like it?
I love
like,
that.
But it was really interesting. I really recommend it. If you have Amazon Prime, I think it's worth a watch. Also because I love movies that are a test for, like, it's a test in character for just a few actors. Like, there's a movie I watched that I brought on here called Locke, which is literally, besides some voice acting, just Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy in a car.
Tom Hardy in a car for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it's about, and like the narrative unfolds while he's driving this car and talking to people on the phone and listening to the radio. And it's wild. Like, it's the most impressive thing I've seen a lot of, like, anyone do, but especially Tom Hardy. That's also, I think, on Amazon Prime. And I highly recommend that one as well. But yeah, like, the reason I wanted to see this is because I was a fan of Robert Pattinson and I love Willem Dafoe in everything. And so I was like, I want to see the two of them just act. Just the two of them. And like a
very like black box theater experience almost.
Very much so. And so it was really interesting. It was very weird. And like, it's just like, I don't I don't know. So this was written by Max Eggers and Robert Eggers. As I understand, Max works with Robert on all of his movies. Robert's only directed a handful of movies. I've not really seen any of them. This was the first one I saw. But, like, I want to see more of them now because his style was so unique. But, like, the dialogue is just fascinating. Like, there are moments when Willem Dafoe is telling tall tales, and it sounds like it's almost Shakespearean in the way that it's like it's language that you recognize as English, but you don't necessarily understand the words being said, but you get the context based on the combination of words.
Totally Shakespeare.
Yeah, and like it's funny. I'll never like when I experience that in film, it'll never not like be like a magic trick. Like when I saw the film version of Much Ado About Nothing, like, you know, it takes my brain like 10 minutes, right? You're like trying to decipher the Shakespearean speak, and then after that 10 minutes you're like, oh, it's just English. Like I understand what everyone's saying. Like your brain keys into it. Yeah. And there was a lot of that with this too, like especially the way Willem Dafoe's character Thomas Wake spoke. Like I would in the beginning of the movie I had to turn on the subtitles so I could understand what he was saying, and then eventually I kind of keyed into the old seaman kind of speak. And I was like, oh, okay, I understand now. So, yeah, as far as the plot goes, I can't tell you anything about it because talking about one, I like what I laid out about this guy wanting to be a lighthouse operator apprentice and like learn about the lighthouse and work for this lighthouse. Like that is the plot, but there's so much more to it than that. But I can't possibly explain the rest of it. Like
That's
it's
really
just.
Funny.
Like, there's madness involved, and it is very much like a heightened, like, two people stuck in one place together for a long period of time, and that kind of chaos that would ensue. But it goes beyond that. I don't want to say any more than that because it's one of those movies that I feel like you have to see to believe. So,
I love that. It's really wild because I was just watching the latest seasons of Joe Pera Talks to You, which is like very soothing. And they just did an episode that like dealt with being a lighthouse keeper, you know, and what that would be like. And it's incredibly soothing. Joe Pera Talks with You is like comfort because he's like so slow and like solid and comforting to listen to. So it's just like now I just want to go watch The Lighthouse just to have those two ideas in conversation.
I mean, it's clear that this movie doesn't take place in modern times. It's like the way they're dressed, it's very much like kind of old sailors. Like if I had to guess, I'd say maybe 60s. But, you know, could be 50s or 40s. It's really hard to tell. Like it's clearly basic amenities like they're pissing into piss pots. Like they're not like there's no running like the plumbing is like a pump. Like there are no modern amenities, so it is clear that it's in the past, but they don't spend a ton of time really telling you when. And it doesn't really matter when you're in this isolated place.
That's true. Did you know, and I learned this from Joe Pera Talks with You, that the last lighthouse was automated in 1998.
I did not know that.
All lighthouses have been automated, but the last one to get it was in 1998.
Well, that seems so much later than I expected.
I know, right? You'd really think like we unlocked this electricity shit. Maybe we should put it in where we keep boats from crashing. I don't know. I can't trust humans at this point. We're too far gone in 2022.
I sometimes still forget it's 2022 at this point.
Yeah.
So, you know, like it's 2022. It's the sequel to 2020.
No, excuse me. It is 2022. The squeakquel.
The squeakquel. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to say about it other than I really think people should watch it. I think if you're a squeamish person, maybe not. But like, there's
like
nothing.
Squeamish for like gore.
A little,
or like,
but
social dynamics.
A little, and social dynamics, and like, I mean, like, there's no, like, there's some sexual stuff that, like, I don't think there's any, like, there's no implied rape or even rape of any kind, so there's no like real trigger warning for that. But there's definitely things that feel untoward or weird throughout it. So I think if you're generally squeamish, you may want to avoid it. But if you like take it case by case, it might be worth watching. If that stuff doesn't bother you at all, like then definitely watch it. Because again, it's like one of those things where I just want more people to have seen it so I can go, what do you think is going on besides it just being wild and weird? Because, like, I won't spoil the ending, but the ending just seems to come completely out of hand from what led up to it.
Yeah.
But also feels like a natural conclusion to what was going on in the narrative. And so all I have is questions at this point.
Perfect.
Was it aliens?
It wasn't aliens. No aliens in this one. Sorry,
No.
Jmike. I know that's your go-to over on Men of Steel. Like,
Mind-blowing movie.
like,
that
is it
we dealt with
aliens?
recently. It's aliens.
no aliens this time. But
babies.
yeah,
I
so
love
yeah,
when
The
it's
Lighthouse. Definitely go watch this weird ass movie.
Oh, well. You just kind of did a 3-word description there.
I did, yeah.
I'll let you take that and know that it's there, but I'll still ask, Matt, if you could describe The Lighthouse in just 3 words, and you cannot use the or lighthouse, how would you sum up this film?
Well, that 3-word phrase does work, but I think I
Yeah.
can do better than that. And so I think weird, wild
Okay.
acting. Like capital A acting. Like
Acting.
like no schmacting. Like acting, you know. And like I
And
like
for
both,
you,
right? Like I
emphasize
like
the
cheesy
and the
acting.
and the
goof- yeah.
acting.
Like I like
Gotta like over enunciate it.
I like my fair share of cheesy stuff and like popcorn flicks and like I watched Red Notice like so many other folks on Netflix. It was fine. I think I talked about it here being fine, but like this is not that. This is like capital A acting. Like this is an art piece. This is, I mean, it's A24, right? A24 has a brand, and so like
Yeah.
if you are familiar with A24's brand, even if you haven't seen any of their movies, this is definitely one worth watching. And if you have Lord Bezos's video service, you might as well utilize it and watch this fantastic film.
Yeah, utilize the Bezos service before we all eat him.
Yes, before we just eat him alive.
Eat him.
God, nothing made me less excited for the Lord of the Rings TV show that's coming out than the picture that circulated today on Twitter of him like leaning over the sign, being excited for it. I'm like, nope,
Also-
ruined now.
We have a bit of an issue here with the title of the piece.
Yeah.
It's Lord of the Rings of Power.
Yeah.
And as my partner very, very wisely pointed out, that's too many rings close together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings of Power.
yeah, it's a lot.
That's such
It's
a lame
got more
title.
rings than a Sonic game.
Yeah, it's
I
just
mean-
not a good title. No,
Yeah,
but
it's not good. They had so much time and money, and they did this. I'm not.
yeah.
I'm worried.
Same. But this is not a show about worrying about the Lord of the Rings, though it could be
No.
someday. Rachel, what is the most recent thing that you have watched?
So, I hope folks remember from last episode where I said I was on a bit of a tear,
Uh-huh.
a bit of a like fantasy trash tear,
Oh no.
and
Uh-oh.
here I come, humbly with my hat in my hand, to tell you of all of the endless conflicts and strange decisions that sum up Sundance and Shudder's collaboration, A Discovery of Witches.
What is a discovery of witches? I've never heard of it.
So it is a fantasy drama series based off of some dark fantasy novels called the All Souls book series.
Okay.
And boy oh boy, where to begin? It has such a boner for dark academia. It is trying so very hard to be like big adventure and like world changing circumstances, but it's still kind of trying to also be like a Twilight.
Okay.
And it's also like super soapy, and there is time travel. Also, there is time travel. Okay, so in this world of A Discovery of Witches,
Uh-huh.
vampires, demons, and witches exist.
Okay.
They look just like us, and most of the things we have learned about them are folklore passed through the ages.
Okay.
Our story centers around a witch named Diana, who has no interest in magic but is really interested in history, specifically studying alchemy. And she gets her hands on this very special book that no one can touch called The Book of Life, or Ashmole 782. And then all the vampires and demons and witches, like, they gotta get her. And that's, like, the first things that happen.
Okay.
And I would like to give you an idea of the vibe of this show.
Okay.
Diana is in the library at Oxford, studying, and people know that she's got the Book of Life. And this one gentleman who also is a professor at Oxford named Matthew Claremont, or how he shall be called from now on, Matthew the Vampire, sees her do some accidental magic. And I shit you not, friends, she looks at him and just goes, "You're a vampire in the middle of the fucking library." There's supposed to be a secret world that's within our world, like that very, like, Harry Potter, like, overworld, underworld kind of nonsense. But this one's actually canonically gay. Like, Diana was raised by her two aunts who are in a marriage, and they are shown as a loving romantic couple. It is awesome. But it does suffer that sort of, like, trashy, tawdry drama that, like, wine moms love, where it's like, this romance is really hot and heavy, but, like, they don't do it till, like, season 2, episode 6. You know, like, it's wild. And they go to, like, their respective, like, childhood homes. Like, obviously Matthew the Vampire's home is, like, with his vampire family who live forever, and so it's like old fucking castle. But then they also go to, like, her aunt's farmhouse in, like, Madison, New York. And it's like if Tumblr Dark Academia fans met, like, Twilight wine moms, and they wanted to make, like, a fantasy epic. That's what this is. And I can't believe it. I love it so fucking much. I am just so delighted to watch it. And one of the best things about it is I just watch it and my partner comes home and then I explain things that happened in it. And it's just madness. Like, I just had to tell them today that, like, apparently Matthew the Vampire's vampire bloodline has a blood disease in it called blood rage, and that's a new problem they have, and it's just, like, stacking problem on problem on problem. Like, the shadowy cabal of demons, vampires, and witches want to get him. But also, Matthew the Vampire has a vampire ex-girlfriend we gotta worry about. But also, like, Diana's parents are dead, and she doesn't really know why. And then she finds out they were killed by witches, and witches were Nazis at some point, I guess. Also, that's made canon. What the fuck is this show? I love it.
Sure.
It's
Like,
madness.
It sounds like Days of Our Lives meets, like, Charmed.
Yes.
Meets, like
Yes.
General Hospital all mixed together.
Yeah, and then make it kind of smut. Like, just a little bit. Like, just, like, have him finger blaster in his, like, family home, and it's perfect.
This is a TV series, yes?
Yes, it is a TV series. I am sorry to report I did not finish season 2, but honestly, the fact that season 2 takes place partially in 1590 because Diana and Matthew the Vampire time traveled back there using time magic.
Okay. But so this is produced by Bad Wolf and Sky Productions. Alex Kingston, famously River Song, is in it. Matthew Good, who is Ozymandias, is in it. Like, I could see why you would want to initially watch this. It sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's really bad. They spent the first season just literally dressing the protagonist, Diana, in so many blues that it is positively distracting. Like every scene she is in, it is just like, we get it. You love LL Bean when they do a blue line. It's great.
Is it
amazing.
one color or is it like multi-layered blues?
Yeah, only now that she's back in 1590 do they have her wearing like anything fashionable in any other color than blue.
Oh, good Lord.
I love it so much. I hope they have a vampire baby. I know that may not happen, but I want it so much. And you'd think I wouldn't after Twilight, but I do.
Look, I'm not going to judge you for watching terrible stuff because I've watched plenty of terrible things. Like, we all get there, but this sounds like it was a ride that I don't need to go on.
More than a ride.
No, listen, I seriously will just like go back and rewatch this and just tell you what happened. She gets the book out, and all the magical creatures who call each other creatures because of course they fucking do are like, do you feel that presence? It was the book of life. And they're all just like, they gotta get Diana. And she's so special. She's the most special witch ever in the history of ever.
Of course.
She's the chosen one.
She's the chosen. She's the special who gets to finally have sex with Matthew the vampire after so many episodes of them just like swearing their love to each other in the most dramatic ways possible.
It's not even like a will they won't they. It's just like,
no,
we love
no,
you.
it's just
I love
like
you.
they're in like literally even Matthew the vampire when Diana is like, I love you in his mom's house. He's like, you've known me for 3 weeks and I've been alive for like hundreds of years. And I'm like, yes, everyone, please tell Diana to slow her fucking roll. And then like the next episode, he's like, I can't live without you. And I now have a beginning, middle, and end to my life. And when my life ends, it's when your life ends. And it's just like, holy shit. And then he fingers her in his childhood home. Well, not his it's like vampire childhood home, obviously, not his actual.
What if this her in the True Blood? Like, this is like a wild turn.
It's like True Blood, but with like dark academia, like that very like cottage core Tumblr aesthetic, and like this person like read Dan Brown and went, I love this. Can I just add creatures to like real ones that they're fine though. They like live normal lives, you know, like they don't burn up in the sun or anything. It's cool. It's madness.
It sounds like it. Well, Rachel.
Yeah, I could. There's more though. Like,
okay.
And he's like friends with Kit Marlowe. I fucking hate it. It's amazing.
Who's Kit Marlowe?
He's like an author from like the 1590s.
Oh, okay, yes.
And it turns out like he lived as Matthew Riordan for like some of the Elizabethan era. I love it. It's so it doesn't understand history though. It had like a string quartet madrigal version of like if I could save time in a bottle. I cannot stop talking about things that happened in this show. I am fundamentally broken now that this like dam is out. Oh,
holy crap.
Yeah.
Well,
I love it.
Rachel, if you had to describe a discovery of witches in just 3 words without the words discovery of or witches, what 3 words would you use to describe this bonkers ass TV show?
Madness. Love it.
Madness. Love it. All right. There you go. Straight and to the point.
I can't wait to watch more. I cannot wait.
Oh, it's amazing. Unbelievable.
And he's got like a crazy vampire sister who like shows up.
Of course he does.
And it's just like, I have the blood rage disease too, but I just want to be Drusilla from fucking Buffy.
Amazing. You'll have to report back after you've finished all of it.
Oh my God,
we'll just start a new series, a short podcast called Rachel Explains: The Discovery of Witches.
I was so tempted to like stream this because the first season was on Prime and you can stream Prime things and I was like, I should have a watch party of this, but I was like, I can't. That's too much. That's too much like power to have over the internet. So
Look,
it could
someone
still
might be-
happen, though. I may go back and watch it and just
You never know
fucking explain it.
what your audience could be.
Yeah. Someone may just tune in just for it. You never know.
Just loves this nonsense. Give them more obstacles.
man.
Sure, why not? Fuck it. Who cares?
Well, clearly Rachel and I are a little unhinged tonight. Jmike, did you bring
no.
something a little more calm and collected, or are you just as unhinged as the rest of us?
Listen, man.
Oh,
Listen, okay?
okay, Mike.
Trust me. I haven't watched a lot of movies. So you hey, could you come on the show? And I was like, cool, I will be there this time, I promise. So I was like, what movie should I watch? And I was like, all these crazy movies are out now. It's like Spider-Man's out, new Matrix is out. I was like, The Duel. And I was like flipping through HBO and I was like, Ron's Gone Wrong. I wanted to see this movie.
So you watched Ron Gone Wrong? Amazing.
Yes, I was like, this looks awesome. I'm gonna watch this. So I watched a kids movie.
Hell yeah. We love kids movies on this podcast.
Oh, yes.
I
Kinda
just watched
like a-
Strange Magic last week, so I love children's
Like-
garbage on here.
I was not expecting this to be a fun movie, but this movie was awesome.
Yeah.
And this is the Zach Galifianakis plays the
That
robot,
name.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't want to spoil it for you guys. 'Cause I don't know if you guys actually gonna watch this or not, or if your audience has watched it. Or I think this is an old movie too.
It came out a little while ago. I feel like last year at some
It says
point.
it's 2021, so it was 1,000 years ago.
Yes.
Right, exactly. Well, what was the basic premise of the movie?
So there's this giant tech company that's called Bubble, which is actually Apple,
Yeah.
and they
Of course.
they're distributing these little iPhones on wheels for kids to interact with each other because no one ever talks to anybody anymore. It has to be through the screens. And so the little robots, they know everything about you, and they know all your friends, your social media contacts. They connect to all your social media apps.
Terrifying.
And the kids are walking around with little cubes, talking to them all day. So there's this one kid, his name is Barney Podolsky. He's from his family is from a Eastern European country, and he migrated to the U.S. And his dad is, when you were a kid and you got the highlights books, and in the back of the book there were these little advertisements for buying things, the spyglasses and things. His dad runs that company out of his living room. And so he goes to school every day. He's picked on because he doesn't have a B-bot, is what they call him.
Right.
And so for his birthday, which is the premise of the movie, he wants to have a B-bot. But his dad really can't afford them because they're super expensive, like iPhones. So the B-bot he ends up getting is defective because it fell off the back of a truck and got injured. But they don't know that. And so he's disappointed because he didn't get it for his birthday. His dad feels bad for him. And you're the whole premise is you're supposed to go into the Apple store and get the B-bot.
Right.
But by the time they get there, at the end of the day, it's closed. So he has to go around the back and bribe the guy to hand him the injured one off the truck. And so he takes it home. Barney's like, "Yay, I got a B-bot." And he opens it up and it doesn't work. And it's all the B-bots are connected to the bubble
The
hive cloud thing.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
So they know everything. And because he fell, he got injured and he doesn't connect to the cloud. So he's cut off from all the resources. So he's pretty much just "Hi, I'm a B-bot," the entire time. And so Barney's trying to teach him how to become a friend and all their shenanigans and adventures. The company finds out that he's a defective robot and he's not connected to anything. And any other robot that comes in contact with him, he can turn off their safety measures and blocks and things, and let them run wild too. So the company tries to come after him and find him. The kid runs off into the forest to go hide. He gets lost. His little B-bot sacrifices his battery life to go take him back to the city because the boy gets sick. It gets really sad.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I wasn't expecting this. This is these onions out here, man.
Gotta sharpen your knives.
Yeah,
Sharpen your
some
knives.
candles out. Well, the company eventually gets his little B-bot back and erases him by accident, and he has to go on this huge adventure into the company, like a little spy part, to go rescue his little data chip. And he ends up sacrificing his friend to make sure all the other kids can have their actual Bebots be their real friends, instead of like little iPhones walking around. So he sacrifices his code to go back into the system. So it turns all the Bebots into his little version of Bebot. But like he's like, oh, I'll always be there for you. So he's technically like his Bebot is still around. It's just in all the other Bebots now.
Aww.
And so every time he walks by, like they all like give him high fives and things.
I kind of was gonna make a joke about how this was gonna turn into like a real they live scenario where like this one, and then it kind of did in its own weird way where it's like a rogue actor in a system.
Yeah.
Sort of like dismantling it through just from contact, you know?
They totally like. There's two guys who run the company. There's like the idealistic young guy who's like, I want to help everybody make friends, blah blah blah. And then you have like your
Jeff Bezos.
You're Jeff Bezos, and the guy who runs Apple, who's like, oh, we can turn this into a profit. Who cares about kids? We care about the money.
You're a real Elon Musk,
yeah,
for lack of a better term.
No one cares about kids. We care about the money. Kids don't care about anything. They just want to play and talk to their friends and blah, blah, blah.
This is just like, I love that the premise of this is just filtered through the heaviest boomer filter I've ever seen. These kids don't talk to each other anymore.
They're worried
too
about
busy
views.
on their iPhones.
You know? They're
And their
Twitch streaming.
Googles.
They're on their views. They're whatever. Their FaceTime stuff. They don't care about talk. Who goes and plays outside anymore? That's crazy. But
No one,
yeah.
because of the panini.
Well, it sounds like you enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
It was. I was expecting a really like, oh, it's a little kid movie, man. I treat this the same way I treat Sonic the Hedgehog, which is the last movie I saw in theaters.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I saw it in February, and then I went to Florida to go visit my parents, and then everything locked down.
Oh,
And
wow.
but it was a fun little adventure. It's a fun little heartwarming
Yeah.
like family movie, and I was like, oh man, that's real. This is real. This really gets you right in the feels.
Yeah, I remember seeing the trailers for it, and it looked cute, and so it's
Oh,
good
it's
to hear
adorable.
that it was a fun movie. I missed a bunch of the kids movies that came out last year, like The Mitchells versus the Machines. I didn't see this
That's
one.
pretty good.
Ron's Gone Wrong. I missed a few of the Disney movies, and so like I always like hearing when other people have seen them and have a good experience. And knowing that you were cutting onions, as you said, while watching it means that it'll destroy me because I am a sucker for those kinds of movies. Like they ruin me pretty easily.
There are a couple of scenes where you're like, oh god.
Gotta be ready.
Like the forest scene, them coming out of the forest, it got me. And I was like, oh, they didn't warn me about this stuff. It's no little like sidebar description thing for this. Warning may cause you to tear up for a second.
Right? There should be warnings on these things. Warning labels on everything. That's the solution.
Disclaimer.
Now y'all
Yeah.
make me really want to go watch Short Circuit.
Oh, Short Circuit. Incredibly problematic at the time.
Of all of the choices of movie, this is
Yeah.
inspired.
Yeah.
Short
It
Circuit.
makes you want to go watch Short Circuit. Oh man.
I just want to watch movies about people making robot friends.
You gotta find a way to fit your witch day drama in there too. So you gotta find extra time. It's not gonna be enough time in the day for all this stuff.
No, and I do not recommend a discovery of witches.
Too late.
I recommend you like if you aren't feeling it, just be like, hey, what's happening on a discovery of witches right now? And I can be like, well,
Let me tell you.
the magical cabal of
I got a
demons,
story for
vampires,
you.
and witches tried to like usurp one of the vampires, but they did a vote and everyone was cool in the vote and he stayed.
Well, the movie sounds fun. It sounds like a cool animated romp, and I love when there are good animated movies outside of Pixar. I love Pixar and I love Disney, but it's always nice when the studios outside of that also do some fun kids stuff because there hasn't been as much of that. Well, Jmike, if you had to sum up Ron's Gone Wrong without using the words Ron, gone, or wrong, What 3 words would you use to describe this movie?
Friendship robot onions.
There you go. All right, done.
Perfect.
Perfect. Tells the whole story.
That really is like encapsulates everything that we were just discussing. Perfect. No
Perfect.
notes. None.
No notes. Yeah, you nailed it.
We did it live, guys.
Yeah.
We did it live. Speaking of doing it live, and not live, as it were. So I mentioned earlier, you are one of the hosts of Men of Steel. You host it with the incredible Case Aiken, who we like to make fun of on the show because why wouldn't we?
No, we don't make fun of. We have a blood feud with
Right,
over
exactly.
punctuation.
Because Rachel always says in the 3-word reviews in the Discord to not put punctuation in
Put
Case does it
periods between
anyway.
them. I've lost to this war.
that's just spite.
It's done.
Let's just fight. Yeah.
Let's not.
You're here first.
Let's not bring it up. I put it to bed. I squashed that beef. It's fine. I'm not angry about the periods. I'm not.
Yeah, clearly
at all
not.
enraged.
Clearly.
It's fine.
No, you should keep it going. Keep it going. Let it be a blood feud.
There you go. Full of blood rage.
Yes.
Yeah, finally. Tapping into
Finally.
my mysterious blood rage that was both eradicated but also not, I guess, because it's happening. And they
still
all
there.
got it. It's a real rent situation in here.
But Jmike, having you on the show, I'm actually excited to ask because I don't know that I've actually talked to Case about this. I'm curious how Men of Steel came to be. Obviously, like you and Case have been friends for a long time. I know you both like comic books, especially superhero stuff. Like, did Case approach you with this idea? Like, how did Men of Steel come to be?
Oh, I guess if I get you guys the short version.
I mean, with Case, is there ever a short version?
So when we were doing, because I came in like the middle of Scruffy Nerf Herders, like they had
Right.
this whole arc, and like Addie and I were roommates at the time, and so I would just come downstairs and crack jokes with them while they were recording, and so Kate was like, "Hey, you want to be a part of this?" I was like, "I have no idea what you guys are doing. I've never done anything like this before," and he was like, "It's totally cool. Don't worry about it." And they were like, "Oh, you were doing great." I was terrible. Like. They're like, use your imagination. What do you want to do here? And I'm like, what can I do? But like after we would do the sessions for Scruffy, Case would start talking about comics, and then they would make fun of us because we're both Superman fans. And so this went on for months and years. And so when we finally moved to recording to Case's house at night during the week, he would start talking to me on the side about like different Superman arcs and things that he liked to read. And he was like, we should think about doing a podcast about that. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool.
How
A
all
week or two
podcasts
later.
are born with a whimper. Every
Yeah,
time. It's
every
always
time.
like,
It's like,
you want
I
to start
guess
a
we should do
podcast?
that.
Yeah.
sure,
And then,
Then like a year later.
yeah, we talk about it and we talk about it a bit more. I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds pretty. That'd actually be a really cool thing to do one day. A week or two pass by. We're like, oh yeah, did you see this? Oh yeah, I haven't read that before. Oh, you should really check it out. Blah blah blah. Months would pass by, and so like one day we're like, all right, cool, let's actually put this into motion and see where this goes. And Case is like a walking encyclopedia of everything, anything
Yeah.
related
Yeah.
to comics.
Yeah.
And so my job on the podcast is to like nudge him in the right direction when he goes off these little tangents.
Yeah. You're very good at it, by the way. I might add. Some of my favorite episodes, actually, full disclosure, as I said, I think earlier, I am the editor of Men of Steel. And like my favorite episode, I think there's been 8 of them now, there's an episode series called Pop Quiz through Men of Steel, where it's literally Case goes, hey, Jmike, try and find characters to stump me. And I think in the most recent one or the one before, like there was actually a character that you found and Case just had no clue who they were.
I had
so
to
good.
dig deep. I'm like going through like all the like DC Comics database online. I'm going through like all the Wikipedia pages trying to find like the most obscure ones I could find. Because I've tried that before and he always figures it out. I'm like, I hate you. Really, this is like 2 hours of searching and you still figure it out. And so I forget.
Game.
Yeah, and I forget which ones I got him with too. And
Yeah,
he's still
I can't
bitter
remember.
about it. He's still bitter about it.
Oh.
And I was
She's
like,
on the
yes,
footnote.
yes,
Ooh,
yes.
don't give me this ammunition, Jmike.
And he was like, that's not fair. That's way too obscure. And I was like, no, suck it.
My favorite thing also about the show is like how Case has expanded your knowledge of comics and how that's just become conversation. Like, the most, I won't say painful, but the most arduous episodes to edit in recent history were the 2 Miracle Man episodes because there's just a lot there. And like listening to you, my favorite section, which I believe I cut out and then put at the end of the episode, is when Case was having connection issues and you and Alex Lavelle, who we adore, previous guest of this show, just go off about Mr. Cream, a random character from Miracle Man
Oh,
who
man.
has sapphire teeth.
So, like, if you don't know if your listeners have read, like, the whole Miracle Man thing, so I can't really call it a series. It's just its own thing. There's a very stocky black man. He's like a secret agent of some kind. And he just comes out of the shadows, and he has these bright sapphire teeth. And I was like, you're reading, you're like, who the heck is this guy? And he's like, my name is Mr. Cream. And I bust out laughing. And I was like, who the hell names a character Mr. Cream? It was. Case says he has picked out some really random movies that he's had me watch. Some really random story arcs and comics that he's had me read.
Yeah. I'm still bummed that the only time I've guested, so far at least, is for the first Superman animated series episode, and you were unable to make it, and so it was just me and Case. Which is why this is the first time we're actually talking face-to-face-ish online, because you weren't able to make that episode. But I have been pitching for a while, and hell, I'm going to spoil it here because I know it's going to happen. I've been pitching Case for a while on doing, like, the music of Superman, and talking about the different music that, because I'm a music nerd, like the different orchestrations in the movies, the animated series theme, because I know you guys have touched on those things during when you cover that stuff, but like also things like Kryptonite by Three Doors Down, which is obviously influenced by Superman, like talking about how Superman,
What is that? 5 for Fighting song?
I can't remember the
can't
name.
stand.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But that was actually
not Birdplane.
right. But that was the theme to Smallville.
Yeah,
I believe.
No, that
So,
Remy. It was Remy Zero did a thing for Smallville. I think it was.
Oh yes, no, that was something else. That one, Five for Fighting, was different.
I think
No,
that was
'cause
supposed to be the pop hit for the Superman movie that Kevin Smith was supposed to make, where there was going to be a giant mechanical spider.
No, that actually, I'm pretty sure that was because remember at like the end of like the small episodes, like they're like resolving their will they won't they issues, and there's music playing in the background.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that played like 16,000 times.
yeah, I'm sure it did.
Because teen drama, romance, early 2000s. Yay!
It was of an era. I'm curious, since obviously you guys have not just done Superman, you've done Miracle Man most recently, you've done, you've talked about Shazam, you've talked about, you had a very long Wonder Woman run, longer, one might say, than you wanted, because that movie kept moving farther away.
Fault. It wasn't my fault.
No, yeah, for sure not. But I'm curious, like, are there comics that you read outside of superheroes? Because I know you're a big comic book fan. Like, are there any series that you're into that don't revolve around superheroes?
Well, I grew up in the early 90s. And so all of my exposure to comics and things came from, like, Kids WB. Because I'd come home from school, and there's Batman. I'm like, oh, cool, it's Batman. And then Superman. I'm like, oh, stop, it's Superman, too.
Yeah.
And then as I got older and stuff like Justice League and everything, I incorporated that, too. But there was one of my favorite non-superhero things that he had me read was this. Do you remember the Murder Falcon episode?
I do remember the Murder Falcon episode, yeah.
Rachel's like, what?
Jmike, would you like to explain who Murder Falcon is?
There was It sounds crazy, but it's a really good story.
I'm excited. I love crazy.
So there is this guy who used to be in a band, and he was going through some rough times, and he left the band. And so one day I think he starts playing his guitar out of the blue to like try to get back into it, and like these aliens start attacking, and then like all of a sudden he hits a chord, and this giant half robot, half chicken, half bird thing with like machine guns, and like, he looks like a Rambo Falcon half cyborg
I'm not
thing.
looking this up right now.
And so he's like a bandana, and he's like, "You have to play your guitar. Your music fuels my fighting power." And so he's like starts rocking out, and like the more he rocks out, the stronger the bird gets. And like there are other like magical instruments that his friends can play to like summon, like one's a mammoth.
He's like a ninja turtle with a robot arm, but he's a chicken.
Yes. And so like imagine Case explaining this to me, and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Dude, it's amazing. You gotta read it." I'm like, "What?" Trust me, you just gotta look it up. It's amazing. We gotta talk about this.
Oh
What?
It also like the covers look like Josie and the Pussycats covers,
Yes.
and I love it. I'm reading this.
Yeah, I went out and I got it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I was like, "This is amazing." I can't spoil it for you because it gets really deep towards the end.
Okay. All right.
But like it's really good.
All right. Well, there you go. There's a recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't.
I'm in love. I'm in love with Murder
Just like-
Falcon. Are you
just
kidding
like-
me?
Me and Kay started doing the podcast because he's this huge Superman buff, and I am a Superman because he's read like mountains of comics. I am of like, this was a cool thing that everyone got made fun of me for when I was a kid because everyone was like, "Batman rules." I'm like, "You suck," and and I'm like, Superman's better. And so Case, like we talk about all the time, like off the air, about like different things you love about Superman, and because we just did Superman for all seasons. It hasn't aired yet, but
By the time this is out, it might have.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
and he's like, "Why do you love Superman?" I was like, "I love the idea that Superman presents to us as people. Like, always strive to be your best version of you, and try to be a better person to everyone around you."
Yeah.
Because we desperately need that nowadays.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Yeah.
in the before times, it wasn't as bad.
Right. I was gonna say it was still bad. But it
all
wasn't
as
spent
bad.
a significant more time on the internet as
Yes.
of late, and I am on the fence as to whether or not that was a good thing that we did.
Yeah.
In the before times.
In the before times.
Yeah.
I mean, I love your episode that you guys did with Yuri Lowenthal, who's also been on Fun and Games,
Yeah.
the voice of Superman, Superboy, technically.
I felt bad about that one because I was kind of like starstruck, and I was like, "It's Spider-Man,"
Right?
and
Of
I wasn't
course.
saying too much. I was like, "It's Spider-Man."
I mean, I will kid you not. Like the first time he came on Fun and Games, I was the same way. I mean, he's since been on again, and like I'm convinced we're best friends now. I'm just putting it out in the world. Like I'm just saying it.
Yeah, come on the show.
Come on the show, Yuri. But like that episode was really great because like I think it was either you or Case who had asked Yuri like, do you think it's hard for Superman to be good? And it ended up being the log line I used for the intro of the episode. It's like Yuri talking about how it's not like Superman. The core of Superman is that he is good, and it is easy for him to always do good. Because it's the thing he wants to do. That's how he's built. It's how he's made. And I think it's where Superman fails in other mediums. Like you guys have gone on record a lot about the Zack Snyder stuff.
What?
And like,
We're
and
not
like-
gonna see.
and like, but like you guys agree that like Henry Cavill's not necessarily a bad Superman.
No, he's a
It's-
wonderful Superman.
It's just that the way they write him, they miss the point. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the core of Superman.
Everyone-
Feel the vindication when you watch The Witcher.
Exactly. Right?
Yes, I was like, it's all about how you portray Superman. Superman doesn't need to be like fighting Darkseid every 15 seconds. I was like, some of the best Superman stories are like the smallest, most intimate things where he's just trying to help people.
Yeah.
He wants to like see the kid like dangling off the side of the building, like picks him up and puts him back down. And like, oh, I like your suit. He's like, thanks, my mom made it for me. And he flies off to go do something else. Like,
Yeah,
A
it's
perfect
great.
Superman moment in Superman
Yeah.
and Lois. Come
exactly.
on.
And like,
Yeah.
it's like everyone tries to like, because he's Superman, they feel like he has to be the big punching bag, the big threat killer, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just about how he interacts with people. Because Kay said it best, like Superman is Clark Kent,
Yeah.
and Clark Kent is Superman. Superman is a god trying to interact with people on an everyday basis by being Clark Kent.
Yeah, it's allowing himself to be in a humbling and humbled position.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right.
he doesn't have to be Clark Kent. He could just like fuck off to Mars for all he cares. But like it's that choice to be like, I want to be as you, and I want to be everything that is good in you.
I want to help you
Yeah.
Yeah.
be better.
Well, you mentioned the animated shows earlier, and like I love Tim Daly. I had the honor of telling Tim Daly that like when I read a Superman comic, I hear his voice
Yes.
because he's just been Superman for so long that like that, and the animated series was so just the same way that like Clancy Brown is Lex Luthor.
Yes,
Like
there-
that's that I hear that voice every time I read it, and whenever he shows up in something else, I'm like, what are you up to, Clancy Brown?
Is that Lex?
Yeah, like, what are you up to? But I wanted to ask, like, do you have a favorite version of Superman, either from the comics or
man.
portrayed somewhere? Because, like, for me, I think currently probably my favorite Superman, besides Christopher Reeve, who like is like on a pedestal above everyone. Like, I really love Tim Daly. I love his performance in those cartoons. I think he really understood who Superman was. But I'm curious if you have a favorite portrayal of him as well.
Gosh, you put me on the spot.
I know.
It's an interview show. Get ready for
Oh, man.
questions.
Like, if they had done, it's a three-way tie for me.
Okay,
Like, I will always love Christopher Reeve
for sure.
because he's like everyone tries to emulate him because he was like the best version of Superman.
Yeah.
But it's always going to be a three-way tie for me between Tim Daly,
Of course.
Brandon Routh,
Yeah, sure.
and Man of Steel.
Really?
Yeah,
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
Wow.
I mean, I get it.
Henry Cavill, it was me and Case argue about this all the time. I'm always like, he was a good fit for Superman.
Yeah.
DC's problem has never been casting. They always get great cast, but their writing has been absolute garbage.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
totally true.
Yeah, Henry Cavill is the Andrew Garfield of this particular Kate
Yeah.
and
Yes.
Howell character, where you're
Yeah.
just like, you deserve so much more than what was written for you, because boy, oh boy, did you get it. You
He
understood the assignment.
They did him like the greatest disservice by trying to make him into like angry Superman. Brr.
Yeah. When
I'm-
because the tender moments are so much better and we
Yes.
get so few of them.
Yeah.
But like in the, I think it's in the Snyder cut. It might not have been, but like the moment where like he wants to race with the Flash, like
Yeah.
it's such a fun moment. Like,
For me, one of the best moments in the Men of Steel thing is when he's in the school
yes.
and like
Yeah.
he's getting his Sentry powers coming in all at the same time.
Yeah.
And he's having a panic attack because he doesn't know what the hell is going on. And
Yeah,
he runs out and hides in the closet, and they have to call his mom. And his mom's like, "Listen to my voice, just focus on me, and we'll make everything better." And he's like, "I'm scared." Now I was like, "This is great." If they could have done the rest of the movie like this, it'd been great too. But no,
Yeah. No, they did not.
they
That
went
is
straight
for
to
sure.
disaster porn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you mentioned some great names, and like, I mean, and that's not to say that other Superman portrayals haven't been great, like Superman and Lois.
Oh yeah, he's good too.
Like, I think that if you understand who Superman is, you can do a good performance, even if the material you're within isn't great. I mean, and there have been so many more animated movies and video games since then too, and I think like the Injustice video game, which I know you and I have talked about before,
Where Superman
like-
looks like Greg Kinnear.
where he looks like
Yes.
Greg
He
Kinnear.
looks so much like Greg Kinnear. It freaks my bean so bad.
But like that story is written so well It's a
Yes.
shame the movie wasn't.
Oh,
the
God,
animated
no.
movie.
But like you said, like the story, it's so good because it's not. They don't focus on like full on like, oh, I'm angry Superman and I'm taking over the world. No, it's like nuance.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of like side issues going on. It's so good.
It's where Superman's conflict of what is good is harm reduction via killing villains, doing the more good. Did we have it wrong? Like, it's interesting because he still thinks that he is the good guy here, that he is making the correct and moral decisions. It's just really unfortunate that like tragedy has led his morality down a path of like murder.
Yeah, because even Batman, even though they're on like opposite ends of the spectrum in the game in the comics, Batman has a moment where like, you're right. you are right, because like Batman has this whole like daydream where like he actually is the one to kill the Joker,
Right.
and he's taken him to Arkham, and he like figures out like, oh wait, this is just gonna keep happening. It's never gonna end. He like snaps the Joker's neck and like drops him off at Arkham, and they put him in prison. And then he's like telling Clark what had happened, and Clark like walks through the gate, or he walks to the wall and like hugs him.
Yeah.
And it was like, because Superman and Batman are best friends. Like they're canonically they're best friends, and so like they're just like opposite ends of the coin.
Yeah.
But they fight, they argue, but they always trust and love each other because you know we're the best friends. And Injustice is that good, man.
Yeah, no. Well, and that's why Batman vs Superman didn't work, right?
Oh,
Because
God.
it started them as enemies, which like
And
just
like
doesn't make sense.
even in the books, like that whole story with Batman vs Superman happens at like when they're like 80 years old.
Yeah. At the end of their career, not
They're
at the
like
beginning.
Angry old men arguing about like politics and stuff. Like they're like there's like the old men sitting in the rocking chairs.
Yeah, it's
like,
grumpy old men, but comics books this time.
Yeah. Batman's mad at Clark because, he became a puppet for the government. And he's like, we didn't do this. You're wrong, Clark.
Also, Clark definitely did eat all of the Werther's originals. You
Of
know
course.
he did.
You know he did it.
Did you eat my candy? No.
No,
Curse you, Clark.
I'd never.
Yeah, like they didn't start off being best friends. Or they didn't start off being enemies. They just like didn't trust each other at first. The more they worked with each other, the more they found out they were really alike.
Yeah,
Really
for sure.
Drop those AT
Well,
fields for each other.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I do love how you guys explore that stuff on the show, and that you don't just stick to Superman, but the things that have influenced Superman as well. I think that's important because Superman is the characters that are around him as well.
We've got another one I'm waiting to talk about coming out, and it's so good, and I can't wait.
Exciting.
All right, cool.
Yeah. People who are listening, I just showed them a book that's coming out. We're going to talk about it, and I'm super excited for it. It's a secret.
It's a secret until it's out.
Except to us, who saw the secret.
Yes.
And I won't tell the secret.
They're cool people. They know the secret now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. Well, I wouldn't go that far that we're cool people, but
Cool people.
all right. Well, Jmike, this was wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
thank you.
No problem.
I've been wanting to make this happen for a while. I know your schedule is hectic and
Oh,
crazy,
God.
but I'm glad you were here. Before we go to thanking some folks, wrapping up the show, and asking you our final question, which is still to come.
Oh, no.
Why don't you tell folks where they can find you on the internet and those good gifs and memes you post?
So I'm not a very savvy Twitter person like you guys are. I forget that I have it most days, and like a case will tag me and something. I'm like, oh wait,
What a blessing your life must be.
What a blessing.
Oh my
it's
goodness.
like, oh wait, I forgot I'm part of this, and and I'm like, ha, 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 ha.
That's me with
I'll
the
crack a couple of
Discord.
jokes. I forgot I have Discord too.
I'm a
I
part
am
of
terrible.
this. Oh shit.
I am terrible. But yeah, I occasionally like post little funny gifs and memes and things when I remember that I have it. And you can find me at Jmike101 on Twitter, on the Twitter webs.
And of course, you can find Jmike at Men of Steel.
Yes, we have a
Men
new
of Steel
name.
Pod.
Yes,
yes,
Men of
Men
Steel
of Steel
Pod,
Pod.
because you told Case how to take out the
Yeah, Case
14.
didn't know how to change the name, and I was like, this joke's gone on long enough. Maybe Case doesn't actually know. And so now it's got a new name. But yeah, and of course, Men of Steel, as well as Scruffy Nerf Herders when it eventually comes back, is part of the Certain Point of View podcast family. So you can find Jmike right where you find us each and every week.
Yeah, just like a couple doors down at the network.
Just a couple doors down, just hanging out.
Keep knocking. You'll find them.
Before we go, though, and before we ask Jmike our final question, Rachel, we should thank some people.
Yes, I would love very much to thank John Holy crap, that stunk real bad. Where are we? Let me try that again.
You're going to make a note to edit that later?
I'm going to do my best. If this is still in the episode, hi, everyone. Hi, everyone.
Rachel screwed up the outro, and she's going to take it again.
Aha. Nailing it. Yes, I would very much like to thank John Presnell for the use of the song Aurora off the album Fair Game featuring Stefan Rimble. What a jam. What a smash.
It is a jam. It's an awesome song. I would also like to thank the incredible Katie Bug, who designed our show art. We are so thankful for it. We love that show art. Thank you, Katie.
Yes, thank you. And as previously mentioned, thank you to the Certain Point of View Podcast Network. We have a bevy of shows, all just down this magical podcast hallway called the Certain Point of View Podcast Network. You knock on a door, there it is. Panelology.
There you go.
Knock
You
on
remembered
another
one.
door. It's fun and games. Ooh,
there you
exciting.
go.
Ooh, knock on another door and what do you know? It's Let's Rewatch. Woo!
There you go. See, the bit is that Rachel never remembers the names of the shows, and she doesn't think to do anything about it until she's got to talk about what shows are on the network.
I was already down the podcast hallway and thought maybe I should open Discord. Our community, our online community, to see titles, and I didn't because that's my madness.
Of course, you can go to certainpov.com to find all of those shows and more. You can also find a permanent invite link to our Discord server. Come hang out with us. We're always talking about comic books, video games, TV, movies, and more. You can also rate and review us. Apple Podcasts is a great place. Write us a little review and a 5-star rating. You can also rate us on Spotify now. And Spotify doesn't even make you write a pesky review. You can just click the star level. And so I like to think that we're a 5-star podcast. It's a fine podcast.
Fine podcast. I'll take a 4, a 3.
4 is good too.
A 3 even. I'm not
We're not that picky.
I would never force your hand to feel any way about this podcast that you don't already feel.
It's true.
There you go.
And you can also reach out to us on the internet. I am Matt. I am Matt A.K. Stormageddon. That is my name, but not on Twitter.
The name you say on this podcast, for sure.
It is. I'm on Twitter at DJ_Stormageddon, and Rachel is at...
I am Rachel Quirky. Put an at in front of it, though.
Just put an at in front of it.
Don't just type I am Rachel. I mean, you'll probably find me if you just type in I am Rachel Quirky.
Yeah.
I'm working really hard on this brand, so hopefully it works.
You can also find the show at screen_snark. You can also find our email address to be screensnarkpod. You can send us a missive there at gmail.com. Please interact with us. We love hearing from y'all.
Put an at in front of my name and just yell at me on the internet.
Go
for it.
Just
permission.
do it. Just
granted.
go for it. Granted. But now time has come before we close out the show that Rachel will now ask Jmike our final question. Rachel, are you ready?
I'm always ready. I ask the same question every time. It's
true.
the answers that change and are exciting. Jmike. Jmike is already like, oh no. It's not. Don't worry. It's not too hard. It's only like
pressure.
the most important question you'll ever answer in your whole life, because it affects the trajectory of your future. Jmike, if you could select one trope made popular in movies and television to instantly and magically become true in your life, which trope would you choose?
Oh, God. See, now you've opened up the can of worms where you're like, I wonder what this would be like. Oh, God.
Infinite possibilities.
Oh, no, I'm drowning in possibilities.
To anything.
Oh, you know what'd be good? If every time you needed something, it was always like right there out in the open. Like when you need to you open a car door and the keys falls down somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Like things are just always right where you need
Yes.
them to be.
Nothing is ever missing. Everything is
Yeah.
exactly placed where
Everything
you need it.
you think you need automatically pops out of somewhere. Pull down the visor in the car,
There's
keys
the
pop
keys.
out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Turn a
Yeah,
corner,
always-
there's money on the ground.
Always cut.
Yeah.
Always cut the right wire at 1 second to go. Like it's always
Yeah.
like you're exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to be doing.
Yes.
I like that. Good
Shit,
answer.
that rules. That's just everything.
That's
That's just
awesome.
like you're the luckiest fucking human on the planet, and that is a trope that exists.
Yes.
That is. That's true. That is. Excellent. Well
I
done.
passed. Yes.
Yeah, you did it. Well, Jmike-
Number one answer.
Yay.
Yes, A+. Thank you so much. Jmike, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
We
for
really
having
appreciate
me.
it. This was a blast. Thank you, listeners, for listening to us. I want to thank my really very quite attractive and brilliant co-host, the incredible Rachel Quirky Shank.
Oh my. Oh, and I would love to thank my madness, love it co-host, Matt, aka Stormageddon.
Oh, that joke's never going to die. And of course, we always want to thank you, our incredible listeners. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. We will see you at the movies or on a couch somewhere. Bye-bye.
Aurora, 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 Aurora. Metal to magnet, she will be mine. Aurora.
Nostalgia is one of the strongest forces in the human psyche and is responsible for the continued existence of some of our favorite fandoms. From the minds behind the Dole Up in Dreams podcast and Isolation Cast Voices from Quarantine, Saturday Morning Confidential takes you on a deep dive into the properties that helped influence the artists and creators of today. So whether you are a Goonie, a Gem Girl, a Digi-Destined, or you just want to return to Oz, new episodes release on Fridays bi-weekly starting January 1st of 2021, and join us on the Wednesdays after the main show for the Serial Killer Radio Hour, where we sit down with the people responsible for the toys, shows, and fandoms that you love. Now you can find Saturday Morning Confidential at certainpov.com/SMCpod or on your favorite podcast platforms. So don't forget to tune in for another deep dive into the files of Saturday Morning Confidential.
CPOV.
CertainPOV.com.